You're not tired, you're undisciplined. A lion doesn't ask for motivation. It hunts because it must. Weak minds wait for the perfect moment. Winners create it. With Karas about your excuses, your comfort, or your fear. Out there, it's survival. And only the ruthless rise. You want respect, take it. You want success, move like a lion, silent, focused, unstoppable, dominate your world, or be forgotten. Discipline is the difference between people who talk and people who win. Motivation is temporary, unreliable, and emotional. It comes and goes depending on how you feel, what you watched, or who you listen to. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment or the right energy. It shows up when you're tired, when you're bored, when everything inside you is telling you to stop. That's why discipline always beats motivation in the long run. And human can feel motivated after watching a video or hearing powerful words. That feeling might push you for a day. Maybe a week happens. Most people quit. They fall back into comfort because they were depending on emotion instead of building structure. Discipline is different. It is built through repetition, through doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. It's waking up early when your body wants more sleep. It's working when others are relaxing. A disciplined person doesn't negotiate with weakness. There's no internal debate about whether to work or rest when it's time to execute. The decision is already made. That level of control separates leaders from followers. When you rely on motivation, you're giving control to your emotions, and emotions are unstable. One bad day, one setback, one moment of doubt, and everything falls apart. It creates consistency, and consistency is what builds with anyone who has achieved something meaningful. They They train their mind to act, regardless of distraction. The more you give in to comfort, the weaker your mindset becomes. Discipline requires you to reject that comfort daily. It requires sacrifice. It demands that you say no to things that don't align with your goals. Most people fail because they choose easy over necessary. They want results without paying the price. But discipline is the price. There is no shortcut, no hack, no secret formula. You become self-sufficient. Your standards become higher, and your tolerance for weakness becomes lower. You start operating with purpose, not impulse. That's when progress becomes inevitable, because you are no longer stopping every time things get hard. Disciplina also builds confidence, not the fake kind that comes from words, but real confidence that comes from proof. Every time you do something you didn't feel like doing, you prove to yourself that you're in control. That builds a mindset that can't be shaken easily. You start trusting yourself more because you know you follow through. That trust becomes a weapon in every area of your lives. Discipline. Time rewards. Discipline. While others are waiting for motivation to return, disciplined individuals are stacking progress. Actions, done actions, done daily turn into massive results over time. It's not about intensity for a short period. It's about consistency for a long period. That's where most people lose. They go hard for a few days, then disappear. Discipline eliminates that cycle. It keeps you moving forward, no matter how slow it feels, because movement is always better than stagnation. Excuses don't survive a disciplined mindset. You either do the work or you accept the consequences. There's no middle ground. That level of accountability forces growth. You face reality as it's. You face reality. That's what builds strength, resilience, and success over time. No excuses. Only results is a mindset that removes all room for weakness. Excuses are easy. They protect your ego. They justify failure. And they keep you comfortable. But they also keep you average. Every time you make an excuse, you are choosing comfort over growth. You're telling yourself that your situation controls you. Around. People who win it rewards outcomes. Nobody remembers how hard you tried if the result isn't there. That's the harsh truth most people avoid. You can have reasons, you can have problems, You can have obstacles, but at the end of the day, results are the only thing that separates you from everyone else. Excusas might make you feel better in the moment, but they destroy your future piece by piece. When you adopt this mindset, your thinking changes completely. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what am I going to do about it? That shift puts you in control. It forces you to take responsibility. Blaming circumstances, people, or bad luck might feel justified, but it gives away your power. Taking responsibility gives it back. People who live by excuses wait for perfect conditions. They wait for more time, more energy, more support. But perfect conditions don't exist. There will always be something missing, something difficult, something inconvenient. Those who succeed act anyway. They adjust, they adapt, and they find a way forward. They understand that progress doesn't come from ideal situations. It comes from action in imperfect ones. Accountability is at the core of this mindset. You either deliver or you don't. There's no hiding behind stories or explanations. When you hold yourself to that standard, your behavior changes. You become sharper, more focused, and more intentional. You stop wasting time because you know that at the end of the day, only what you produce matters. Excuses are often rooted in fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment. Instead of facing that fear, people create reasons to avoid action. But avoidance only makes things worse. The longer you delay, the harder it becomes to move forward. Facing the challenge directly, even if you struggle, builds strength. It teaches you to prefer sacrifice. Bad time, you can't expect to win while doing the bare minimum. You can't expect progress while constantly choosing the easier option. This mindset forces you to raise your standards. It pushes you to do more than what is comfortable, because comfort rarely leads to success. Another reality is that nobody owes you anything. The world doesn't adjust to your situation. It doesn't slow down because you're having a bad day. It keeps moving. And if you're not keeping up, you get left behind. Accepting this truth removes entitlement and replaces it with urgency. You realize that if you want something, and it sure becomes non-negotiable. Really comes from over time. They cut when excuses are removed. Consistency becomes easier because there are no breaks in your commitment. You show up regardless of how you feel. And that's what builds momentum. This mindset also builds resilience. You don't fall apart or look for someone to blame. You adjust your strategy and keep moving. Failure becomes feedback instead of a stopping point. That's how progress becomes continuous instead of temporary. Energy is directed toward instead of spending time explaining what went wrong. It creates speed. It creates results. People who focus on solutions move forward faster. You become someone who delivers. Someone who gets things done no matter what. That reputation builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. You know that when something needs to happen, you will make it happen. That level of self-belief is built through action, not words. No excuses, only results is not about being perfect. It's about being accountable. It's about refusing to let circumstances define your outcome. It's about choosing action over explanation every single time. Pain and pressure are not enemies. They are the tools that shape you into something stronger. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort, avoiding anything that feels difficult, stressful, or overwhelming. That's exactly why they stay the same. Growth never happens in comfort. It happens when you are pushed, when you are tested, when everything feels heavy and uncertain. Whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, it forces you to adapt. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to build resilience. When you embrace pain instead of avoiding it, you start to understand that it's temporary. But the strength it builds is permanent. The more you face it, the less control it has over you. Pressure works the same way. It reveals who you really are. Anyone can perform when things are easy, when there's no risk, no stakes, no consequences. But when the pressure rises, when expectations are high and failure is possible, that's when your true mindset is exposed. You either rise to the moment or you collapse under it. Most people break because they are not prepared. They avoid difficult situations, so when pressure finally hits, it feels unbearable. But if you constantly put yourself in challenging environments, you become familiar with that feeling. It stops being something you fear and becomes something you expect. You learn how to stay calm, focused, and effective even when everything around you is intense. Pain and pressure also eliminate weakness. They strip away excuses and force you to confront reality. When things it's easy, when things are, it's simple to believe you are capable. But when you're struggling, when you're exhausted, when everything is demanding more from you, that's when you find out how strong you actually are. That's where discipline is tested, where commitment is proven. There is no success without sacrifice. Pain is part of that price. Long hours, hard work, rejection, failure, all of it comes with the journey. If you are not willing to go through those moments, you are not ready for the outcome. People want rewards, but they don't want the process. They want the result without enduring the struggle. That mindset guarantees failure because the struggle is what builds the foundation for success. Pressure also creates focus. When you know something matters, when the stakes are high, your attention sharpens. Distractions lose their power because the situation demands your full effort. That level of focus allows you to perform at a higher level. It forces you to think clearly, act quickly, and execute with precision. Avoiding pain might feel good in the moment, but it weakens you over time. Every time you choose the easy option, you lower your tolerance for discomfort. You make it harder for yourself to handle challenges in the future. On the other hand, embracing pain increases your threshold. What once felt difficult becomes normal. What once felt impossible becomes manageable. Pressure rebuilds confidence in a real way. Words or pure experience. When you go through difficult situations and come out stronger, you know that no matter what comes your way, you have the ability to handle it. That confidence cannot be faked because it is built through proof. Another reality is that pain and pressure are unavoidable. Life will bring challenges whether you are ready or not. The difference is how you respond. You can either resist and suffer more, or you can accept it and use it to grow. Resistance creates frustration. Acceptance, strength. When you start embracing pain and pressure, your mindset shifts. You stop seeing challenges as obstacles and start seeing them as opportunities. You begin to chase difficulty instead of running from it, because you understand that every hard moment is shaping you into something better. This approach, not just physically, but mentally. You learn how to keep going when you are tired, when you are frustrated, when you feel like stopping. That ability to continue despite discomfort is what creates long-term success. It's not about how strong you are at your best. It's about how strong you are when everything is against you. Over time, pain becomes familiar. Pressure becomes normal. What used to intimidate you no longer has the same effect. You become more controlled, more focused, and more resilient. You're not operating at a level that others avoid because they are still trying to escape the very things that are making you stronger. Taking control of your brutal realization. Taking control of your life starts with one. Perfect opportunity, no lucky break, no external force is going to suit your already loose control begins the moment you accept full responsibility for where you are and where you're going. Not partial responsibility, not selective accountability, full ownership of every result. Most people drift. They react instead of act. And circumstances. And that circumstances, that's not control, that's surrender. When you take control, you stop being passive. You stop waiting for things to happen and start making them happen. You decide your direction and then you decide your direction. And then you move with purpose, regardless of distractions or obstacles. Lost control. If you don't manage it, someone else will. Hours wasted on meaningless activities lowering, destroy your potential. Disciplina, how you spend your time creates structure, and structure creates progress. Every day becomes intentional instead of accidental. You begin to prioritize. Your mind is the next battlefield. If you can't control your thoughts, you can't control your actions. Doubt, fear, and negativity will constantly try to take over. Taking control means recognizing those thoughts, but not obeying them. You act based on logic and purpose, not emotion. You don't let temporary feelings control. Also means setting standards. Not factory standards. That consistency builds a strong identity, and that identity shapes your results. Excuses disappear when you take control. You stop blaming your background, your situation, or other people. those factors may Another key part of control is decision-making. Weak people hesitate. Taking control means trusting yourself enough to act. You won't always be right, but you will always be moving forward, and that momentum is powerful. Comfort becomes less important. Control. You don't prioritize what feels good. You prioritize what works. That often means doing things that are uncomfortable, inconvenient, or difficult. But those actions are the ones that create progress. You'll understand that short-term discomfort leads to long-term gain. Control also requires consistency. Showing up every day, executing your plan, and staying disciplined even when motivation is gone. That's where real control is built. It's not about intensity once in a while. It's about reliability over time. Your environment matters as well. The people around you, the content you consume, the habits you build, all of it influences your mindset. Taking control means being intentional about these factors. Watch out! You remove what weakens you and surround yourself with what pushes you forward. You design your environment to support your goals instead of sabotage them. Fear is something you must confront directly. It doesn't disappear on its own. It grows when avoided and shrinks when faced. Taking control means acting despite fear. You don't wait until you feel ready to come. You move anyway, and with each step, fear loses its grip. There's also a level of sacrifice involved. You can't have everything. You must choose what matters most and commit to it. That means letting go of distractions, cutting off habits that over time, taking control changes how you see yourself. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the creator of your outcome. That shift builds confidence because you know your actions directly impact your results. You become more decisive, more focused, and more resilient. The truth is simple. Your environment, your emotions, or other people will shape your life for you. And that rarely leads anywhere meaningful. Taking control is not easy, but it is necessary. It's the difference between living intentionally and just existing. Staying focused and relentless is what separates those who start. Focus is rare because distractions are everywhere. Every notification, every opinion, every small inconvenience tries to pull your attention away from what actually matters. Most people fall for it. Actually, most people fall for it. Focus means knowing exactly what you want and refusing to let anything interfere with that path. It's not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things repeatedly. You cut out what doesn't serve your goal. You stop wasting energy on activities that bring no return. Every action becomes intentional. Every decision aligns with your objective. That level of clarity gives you an advantage because while others are scattered, you are precise. Being relentless takes that focus to another level. It means you don't stop when things get difficult. You don't slow down when progress feels small. You don't quit when results take longer than expected. Relentless people keep moving forward, no matter what. Not immediate. And they are willing to outlast everyone else. Most people rely on for short. That inconsistency destroys progress. Relentless individuals don't operate like that. They show up every day with the same intensity, the same commitment, and the same standard. They don't need external pressure because they have built internal drive. Distractions are the biggest threat to focus. They come in many forms: entertainment, social media, unnecessary conversations, even your own thoughts. If you don't control them, they will control you. Staying focused means being disciplined enough to ignore what is easy and stick with what is necessary. It's choosing long-term results over short-term satisfaction again and again. Relentlessness also means pushing beyond limits. When your mind tells you to stop, to take a break, to slow down, that's where most people give in. But that's also where growth begins. Going further than what feels comfortable builds strength. It trains your mind to operate under pressure and fatigue. That's what you make. That's what creates a competitive edge. There will be setbacks. Things will go. Staying focused and relentless means those moments don't break you. You adjust, you learn, and you keep moving. You don't waste time complaining or looking for excuses. You stay locked in on the objective and find another way forward. Energy management becomes important. Being relentless doesn't mean being reckless. It means using your energy wisely, directing it toward what matters most. You don't burn out on meaningless tasks. You conserve your effort for actions that create progress. This allows you to stay consistent over long periods. Another key aspect is mental toughness. Your mind will try to negotiate with you. It will offer reasons to slow down or quit. Feelings change, but your mission does not. Focus also requires patience. Since don't always come quickly. There will be periods where it feels like nothing is happening. This is where most people lose interest. They get distracted. They switch paths. They start over. But if you stay focused, those quiet periods become the foundation for bigger outcomes. Progress is often invisible before it becomes obvious. Relentless action builds momentum. Each small step adds up. Each day of consistent effort moves you closer to your goal. Over time, that momentum becomes powerful. It creates a gap between you and those who lack discipline. While you are starting and stopping, you are continuously moving forward. Your environment plays a role here as well. If you surround yourself with distractions, staying focused becomes harder. If you are around people who lack drive, your standards can drop. Being relentless means protecting your mindset. You choose environments that support your goals and eliminate those that don't. Sacrifices. It won't be able to do everything or please everyone. Staying focused means saying no to things you can't move forward if you are constantly being pulled in different directions. Over time, focus and relentlessness become habits. You don't have to force it as much because it becomes part of who you are. You operate with intention, with consistency, and with intensity. Respect is not given because you asked for it. And it's not earned through words, promises, or appearances. It is built through consistency. Anyone can talk about what they're going to do, how serious they are, how big their goals are. But talk is cheap. Action is what proves everything. The moment your actions don't match your words, respect disappears. People watch what you do more than what you say. You might think your explanations matter, but they don't. Results matter. Discipline matters. Consistency matters. When you show up every day and do the work, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, that's what builds That's what makes people take you seriously. Especially if your action starts. If you say you're going to yourself, if you say you're going to do something, you do it. No delays, no excuses, no negotiations. Most people fail right here. They make commitments and then break them the moment it becomes inconvenient. Every time that happens, they weaken their own identity. They stop trusting themselves, and others can see that. Reliability is rare, and that's why it commands respect.